Good morning. How are you? It's Monday. Come on in, you guys. Come on in. Grab your coffee, grab your tea. Let's get your week going. How are you doing? How was your weekend? You probably didn't see any of my stories, and that's perfectly fine. But I had such a good weekend. I just had a very enjoyable weekend. It's kind of like God helps you to get a little bit refreshed every now and then, right? Oh, there's my water. Okay, good to see you guys. Every day at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday, we come together and we just chat about insulin resistance. And today I'm so excited because we're actually going to do a little bit of gut conversation from a different perspective. So this is what the title is today. So hang out for this. When stress blocks your gut-brain signal and it keeps your insulin stuck as well. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about. So good to see you. Last week, we had the 5-day challenge in the group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. Always make sure you give your email to get in. That was wonderful. Oh my gosh, you guys, you inspire me to do better because you guys are you're a lot of you are fresh to taking back your health and becoming your own advocate, and you're excited and you want to make changes. And so that's always so exciting. And then Saturday morning, we did a little private Zoomaroo. And we did because, I talk about the total body reset. We'll talk about that later. But I wanted to be able to bring to you guys a little bit of the expanded, what are some of the things that I kind of do and take, coming from somebody who never supplemented a day in my life. Seriously, I just was never, ever, ever, ever going to be the person that added willy-nilly anything to my universe, because if I didn't know why I was doing it or didn't understand why it was going to help my body, I was just not going to choose the discipline of it. I wasn't going to choose the routine of it. That's me. That may not be you at all. But so I always feel like it's so important to just kind of show you guys a little bit of show and tell and an explanation as to why I do what I do. There you go. Okay. So today let's dive into the whole gut brain signaling conversation. I think this is actually going to be very helpful for you. So now, have you ever heard of your vagus nerve? Who's heard of your vagus nerve? Anybody? You can just let me know in the comments below. Come on in, you guys on TikTok. Good to see you. Come on in from the balcony. This is what your vagus nerve is. This is super interesting. Okay, so it's the longest nerve in your body, and it's like your internal Wi-Fi between your brain and your gut. It starts at the base of your brainstem. It travels down the neck, through your chest, and then it branches out into nearly every major organ: your heart, your lungs, your stomach, your intestines, and your liver. And what are the things that I talk about the most when it comes to insulin resistance? Liver. So it's a part of your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest mode. So this is super duper important, okay? So when your vagus nerve is strong and active, messages flow freely between your brain and your gut. Digestion works smoothly, inflammation stays calm, insulin signals properly. Hello, because what can you not do if your insulin is high all the time? You can't burn fat. What can you not do if your liver is sluggish? You cannot burn fat. So these are the two things that we talk about all the time: insulin, liver, gut, insulin, liver, gut. And your mood will feel balanced if everything is flowing freely, right? However, when it is weak or when it is stressed out, and you might be very stressed out, it's like a bad cell signal. It just doesn't really work, right? So messages get dropped, digestion slows, blood sugar rises, anxiety climbs. These are the things that happen all the time. I'll talk about that later. I got something just came into my head, but I'll mention it a little bit later. So this is why we're talking about this today, because there are simple things that you can do to help deal with the stress that might be putting pressure on your vagus nerve to not have a proper signal. Peggy, back home in Pennsylvania. Oh, Peggy, did you have a good time? Myrtle Beach girl. Magda, good morning. New York is in the house. Good to see you, Magda. Okay, so here we go. What if your gut and your brain were supposed to text each other all day long? Okay, what if? But the signal got jammed. That's what happens when your vagus nerve, your body's internal Wi-Fi, remember, starts at the base of your the base, like starts at your brainstem and it goes all the way down your chest and it hits every major organ. Boom, all of your organs, your liver, your intestines, all of it, right? So it gets weak from stress, poor sleep. We talk about fixing your sleep. Has anybody taken that challenge this year that 2025, I'm fixing my sleep in 2025? Like I'm going to prioritize sleep because I understand that if I don't get good sleep, the next day my insulin resistance is up. The next day my cortisol is up. Has anybody taken that challenge? We've kind of talked about that. Maybe not recently, but we talked about it like in the spring. We were really like, let's nail sleep this year. That changed everything for me when I did this about a year and a half ago. But anyway, or inflammation. So here's the kicker. When the line drops, like, the cell signal drops, the Wi-Fi drops, it doesn't just affect your digestion. That's a part of it. But it keeps your insulin high. And what can't you do if you have high insulin? Burn fat. You cannot burn fat. So your cravings are loud and your fat loss is completely stuck. Okay, are you tracking? I hope you're tracking. So the gut-brain insulin loop, this is how this goes. Good morning, Jody. Good to see you. She's my local Minnesota friend. All right. Oopsie, touched the wrong one. So your vagus nerve, it tells your gut how to move, and it also tells your pancreas when to release insulin. But when your stress is high, and you guys, I talk to so many of you in my messages, like you guys have stress, right? And I understand, like I took care of my mom with dementia for 5 years. And that was a really hard season. There's just nothing fun about dementia, right? And especially when she was living in our homes, my sister and myself separately, you're just kind of on high alert all the time. And you don't even maybe realize how stressed out you are, like how your cortisol is running at a high level because you're just maybe in a little bit of survival. And I spoke to a friend that I ran into at church on Saturday night, and I hadn't seen him in a while, and he's been taking care of his mom. And they just put her into a facility, and my heart just leaps out and just wants to hug him because I know what that's like. So sometimes there are some of you are managing elderly parents like that. Some of you are managing, actually, maybe you just got out of a really bad divorce. That I've heard this one as well recently. And it's like, there are so many things that happen in our life that can be stressful. And then there can be just normal things where we just, like, I don't even realize that I run with a little higher cortisol. And the only reason why I know this is not because I got tested, but because my ashwagandha works so dang well when I have it in hand. I'm like, I must have higher, like hotter cortisol or something like that. But anyway, when your stress is high or your vagus nervus is weak, poor motility. So you're constipated. Are you constipated? Raise your hand if you're constipated. Slow digestion, higher blood sugar, and weaker insulin signaling. Can you see how this all makes connection? Like everything is freaking connected. Why do we go to the medical system, the medical matrix, where they silo all of our information? You go to this doctor to have this conversation, and then you go to this doctor to have this conversation, and then you go to this doctor to have this conversation, and then you go to and then our calendar is full of like appointments, and then we get a different script from each different one, and then we are just, Walgreens is now our next stop, like once a week or whatever. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And here it is, it's all connected. It's absolutely crazy. So I'm just going to repeat that one section. When stress is high or your vagus nerve is weak, and remember your vagus nerve goes from your brainstem down your chest and it hits all of your organs. Okay. So it's hitting all of them. Your heart, your lungs, your stomach, your intestines, your liver. Okay. So it's hitting all of them. But what happens then if that is weak, then you have poor motility, constipation, slow digestion, higher blood sugar, and weaker insulin signaling. Okay. So how does this translate to you? You're bloated. You're anxious. You're craving sugar. Anybody? That's your gut brain insulin system out of sync. Okay. So it's like your body's group text thread. It like froze. It's not signaling anymore. The gut is sending messages, but the brain and the pancreas are not replying. Okay. So insulin stays stuck on send and it stays high. Okay. So signs that your gut brain insulin line is down. How do you know if it's down and you need help? You're constipated, but still bloated. IBS flares when you are stressed. I've had some of you talk to me about that recently. Somebody just actually got off an IBS med. You feel anxious and wired, but you're so tired all at the same time. You rely on caffeine to wake up, and you are relying on something to go to sleep at night. And I don't mean like the magnesium and ashwagandha that I talk about or the melatonin or whatever. You're relying on like maybe a script, or some people will go and take over the counter Benadryl and things that are Tylenol PM, things that are really, really bad for your body. Really bad. Okay. So you are like relying on caffeine on one part of the day, and then you're relying on a sleep aid for the second part of the day. You feel like your belly puffs by evening, no matter what you eat. It just grows as the day goes, just grows. And you're like, what is going on? I'm not even eating hardly anything. That is insulin resistance showing up in disguise. Because when your vagus nerve is off, your body can't calm. It can't digest. Okay. And it cannot also regulate your glucose. Okay. So this is super important. All right. This is what is weakening your signal: chronic stress, high cortisol, poor sleep and circadian rhythm chaos, blood sugar swings from processed foods. Like, we got to fix what got us into the pickle to begin with, you guys. We have to. And you have to stop thinking that it's punishment or that you are living in a restriction land. You're not. You're not. I promise you. You're literally just trading out your ingredients. This is why we do that free challenge every single month. And we just did our 29th one. In November, we're doing our 30th one. Because if you can understand how to just, all you're doing is you're changing out your pantry to the foods that you already love. Okay. Lack of movement is really not great, because a sedentary gut equals stalled insulin use. Okay. So, and then the last one is inflammation and dysbiosis from grains, sugar, artificial sweeteners. Okay. All right. But this is how you can reboot. Everybody's going to want to know, well, what am I supposed to do about it? That's what everybody wants to know. Oh, Deborah, so glad to see you again. I've been unable to attend. I'm so glad you're here, Deborah. Come on in and just like relax for a few minutes. Just give yourself a few minutes today, okay? It's like you guys can grab a cup of coffee, you can grab a tea, you can just like, the fact that you should be so proud of yourself. You should always be so proud of yourself for being on content that is actually working to move you forward. There are so many people that will not do that today. Do you understand that? There's so many people that will not take in any information or anything that they could potentially apply and execute on, that they could like get results from by taking care of their body. And that was me. So I am so sympathetic, maybe empathetic to that whole piece, because I was the undisciplined person. I was the one not willing to sit on content like this. I was the one that just, like, kind of like that, la, 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 and if you don't know, if what you don't know, then you're not responsible for. Like maybe that was me a little bit. Okay. So anyway, so you should be really proud of yourself. I'm so glad that you're back, Deborah. That's great. Okay. So here are the things that you can do. All right. Move daily 20 to 30 minutes of walk. 20 to 30 minutes of walking boosts vagal tone and insulin sensitivity. 20 to 30 minutes. You could do 10 minutes after one meal, 10 minutes after another meal. And then go for it 10 minutes after your third meal. Deep breathing, or have you heard this before? Humming. You guys, humming. If you are a hummer, increase your humming. If you don't hum, start humming. It turns on your parasympathetic system and it lowers your cortisol. So you could be like, and you could be doing that and you're literally lowering your cortisol. I'd love that as a tip. Anyway, singing obviously would be another one. Cold exposure. This is the one I have a hard time with. So let me just tell you, I live in Minnesota and it's like, even now we're in the 40s in the morning and I'm just like, oh, I don't want to go out and walk. So I haven't been walking as much as normal. And then I went out and I did get myself my winter coat. But now that's a little too heavy for right now. So I need to now just have an in-between coat, blah, blah, blah. Got to pull it out of storage. But you have to walk, and cold exposure is good, but I don't like being cold. I don't know if that's anybody else. Some people don't care, and they take advantage of all the winter sports in Minnesota. They snowmobile and they snowshoe and they do all of it. So I have to talk myself into it, right? But cold exposure, this is one I've known about, but I've never done it. End your shower with 30 seconds of cold to reset your vagal tone. Is anybody willing to do that for 30 seconds cold? That's a long time. Anybody willing to do that? Cold water at the end of your shower? Or have you done it? I'd love to know. Resets your vagal tone. I just think to myself, why do I want to be cold right before I get out of the shower? I suppose you could do cold for 30 seconds, quickly warm back up, and then get out. Okay, anyway. Consistent sleep. Microbes and insulin both run on a circadian rhythm. So microbes and insulin run on a circadian rhythm. Do you understand how important it is for you to get your sleep? You need to be able to have 7-8 hours of uninterrupted sleep. And I don't mean like you can't get up and go to the bathroom. Not sure I could handle 30 seconds of cold. I know. 30 seconds is a really long time, you guys. I'm like, but I need to get out my coat, my in-between coat, and start walking in the mornings, because that would be cold then for a minute, right? That'd be good. I could reset my vagal tone every single morning just by walking in a Minnesota morning. Anyway, I am going to do stuff like that this winter, though. I'm going to embrace it. So your consistent sleep and then targeted supplementation. And of course, we talk about this literally every single day, because everything that I talk to you about has to do with insulin sensitivity, going from insulin resistant to insulin sensitive. That is how I've sourced everything. That is how I've taken everything for myself. It has to have a purpose. It has to have a meaning. And so that's what I do. And I'll go through the total body reset here in just a second. So if you can reset your gut brain insulin line now, like before the holidays, you guys, you will feel lighter, you will feel calmer and in control. You will feel lighter, you will feel calmer and in control. Not starting over in January. Does that make sense? You'll digest better. You'll sleep better. You'll have less cravings, and you'll finally give your body the signal that it's been waiting for. Okay. So this is what we're going to talk about now. We're going to go ahead and just chat about the total body reset. If anybody has questions from the webinar that I did on Saturday, let me know. Hold on here. Let me see who's talking, who's chatting. Alonia, good morning. Okay, you guys are so fun. Sharon from Canada, good morning. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving Day today. I actually knew that. I have a friend in Canada and I wished her a happy Thanksgiving. That's fantastic, Sharon. Oh man, on your Thanksgiving, you're watching me? Like, what are you doing, girl? Lynn, singing may lower my stress, but would increase the stress of those around me. You are hysterical. Well, that's a whole nother conversation, Lynn. Then you need to help them with their cortisol. You are so funny. You do it, Alonia? That's fantastic. I assume you mean you hum. It gets better. You get used to it. Oh, no, you do the cold? You do the cold. It gets better. You get used to it. Otherwise, I'm going to get cold anyway from the lack of hot water. Singing in the shower, then making cold hits. 2 tips. There you go. Oh, Olivia. Nice to meet you, Olivia. In-home fold-up treadmill and bikes cost less than $300. That's exactly. You are absolutely right, Olivia. I have no excuse. You are 100% correct. I'm not confused. My husband would say the same thing. I'm just, talking myself into my outside walking, but you are absolutely right. Oh, you're so fun, Jeanette. Love watching you and laughing and learning. Yay. Well, see, laughter is a good medicine. I read a book that says that laughter is a good medicine. And it's true. You have to laugh, you guys. We have so much stress in our society right now. Oopsie. Totally, Deborah says. We have so much stress, and there's so much to be like, about. I mean, on any given day, it's true. Yesterday I spent, because of course there are other things that you can do. Like, for instance, I go to the chiropractor every 2 weeks, like clockwork, because I need to reset my spine. Like that's what helps me, right? To stay so that things are flowing. You want things to flow, right? But then also too, like yesterday, we spent, this was an unusual day. You may or may not know, my husband's been in Christian radio for 42 years. So yesterday we went about an hour and a half to 2 hours away to a smaller town in Minnesota, where they actually have it's kind of like the headquarters of his radio station, but there was a separate of each other. It just so happened that it was happening on the same day. There was a couple hour worship service in the afternoon that my oldest son and my husband and I went to. And it was like, it was so good. It was so good. And then we went to a Jeremy Camp concert last night. I don't know if you know who Jeremy Camp is at all. We used to do a lot of concerts years and years ago because of being in Christian radio. He would get tickets, and the station would be promoting all of these things. And so we'd go to festivals and all this stuff. And we just haven't done it for a really long time. It's just whatever. But last night they had tickets for Jeremy Camp. So we're like, we tool up there and we, whatever, we got these really good seats and it was amazing. And we were so excited, but it was wonderful. But the reason why it was wonderful is because it's him and his wife, and they were doing more of like a living room setting. And he played all of his classic. If you don't know who he is, that's okay. You don't have to know who Jeremy Camp is. But he played a lot of his classic, songs that you would hear on the Christian radio. And it was just a really great, was it almost 3 hours? I think it was almost 3 hours. So the whole day yesterday for me was a total reset. It was a total reset. And I just loved it. And I came home and I felt full and I felt refreshed. And these are the things that you have to do for yourself. And that's just, the whole laughter thing. Like, you have to. I know, what a great Sunday, Lynn. It was amazing. But you have to find those things that reset you. And actually getting outside in the morning, I really loved it all summer long. I get outside. I want the sun on my face. I want to walk. I want to, enjoy that warm weather. And so now I will mentally completely shift, and then I'll put on my parka and I'll go out because I want the sun on my skin is really what I want a lot. Your husband comes into the room and says, "Oh, you're listening to your giggling friend again." Well, hello, husband. That's hilarious. Well, you tell him hi. Say hi. Marilyn from New York in the house. Another New Yorker. I love it, you guys. Oh, that's so sweet. That's great. Well, you know what? This is just what we do. Us girls, we get together and we do this stuff. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you about the total body reset here really quickly. Many of you are already on it. If you have any questions from the webinar on Saturday morning, or if you need a replay of it, let me know. You'll have to message me on that. You'll have to message me, get in my inbox. Don't put it on the screen. Just get in my inbox and say webinar. If you want, it's a rough copy right now. I'm going to kind of barely mention that right here because my husband's going to go back and fix a few things. But anyway, but the total body reset is where I start. And then the webinar, I was just expanding because of course I do take other things other than the total body reset, but I take the total body reset too all the time. So, but then I expand it to the things that make sense for me, right? Like I want my adaptogenic herbs. I want my magnesium. I want my, vitamin D3, K2. I want those things, but I want you to look at them through the lens of insulin resistance. Okay. So the total body reset, this all started just a little over 10 years ago when I wasn't willing to change out my food. That's where this all started. And TikTok, I apologize because I have to be so careful about showing you guys things, but I can tell everybody that this is where my site is. I think I can do that on TikTok. You could go to the link in my bio on TikTok, right? Anywhere you can go to the link in my bio, but this is where my site is. And then I'll show you guys like how to find out what I'm talking about. Okay. It's right here. Oh, my name is there, but it doesn't say .com. I wonder why that changed. Oh, that's so interesting. I'll have to change that back. So my first last name .com. Marilyn says oh, you just got an injection in your back, Marilyn. God bless you. Oh, I pray that whatever that was for, that it works and you'll feel amazing. You just figured, okay, good. Okay, hold on, Wendy. I will answer that in just a second. Well, let me just do it quickly. What is a good snack to eat before bed? Last night I had a hard time getting to sleep. My stomach grumbled loud. I would grab a cheese stick. I would grab anything that is straight protein that will not spike your sugars, barely a smidge. A beef stick, a cheese stick. That's what I would grab. And then I would go to bed. Beef stick probably better than cheese stick because cheese is, dairy. So probably better. Like you can get grass-fed beef sticks like at Costco or something like that. Okay. All right. Thanks for the follow. Oh my gosh. Do you know that I don't think that Instagram has showed that before? Ever. I've been doing this, you guys, we've been doing this for over like almost 2 years. And they now have where it says that somebody started following me. That's a TikTok thing. Well, that's so cool. Thank you so much for following me. Hello, Phoenix, Arizona. Well, that's really cool. I love it when they like add little benefits. So a little over 10 years ago, I'm addicted to sugar. I'm a 2X in size. I was raised in an Italian family, very emotionally connected to food. We ate because we were happy. We ate because we were sad, mad, angry, bored. It didn't matter. You just ate to show respect. I mean, honestly. And I just really, at 50 years old, I thought, can't teach an old dog new tricks. That kind of a limiting belief in my brain. And I started to supplement instead because I figured I could at least take a couple pills. This is literally what was in my brain. And I knew that I had to do something because I was scared. My dad died when I was 30. He was only 63 when he died. Type 2 diabetes. He spent his entire 50s and his health was going like this, just tanking. His meds increased. His health decreased. It was stupid. And I just remember thinking, I better do something because here I am checking to see if my sores are going to heal. But I knew nothing that I talked to you about. I didn't know any of this. I didn't know insulin resistance. I didn't understand blood sugars other than maybe if I'm drinking too much water, if I'm peeing too much, like these could be symptoms. That's all I knew. Magda, you just looked up Jeremy Camp. Definitely love Christian music. Thank you. You're welcome. I know. It was such a good, you guys, he's just such a good guy. He's such a good guy. Anyway, okay. So I started here. I started with the trio. These are 3 supplements that have 3 ingredients, and I have to be super careful at TikTok. So I'm going to go over here. Sorry. That help with insulin sensitivity. This is literally where I started. And I actually didn't even believe anything was going to help me. I didn't even believe that it was going to matter. I was doing it just to keep my mom quiet because she wouldn't stop talking to me about my sugars. Well, then I started sharing with other people kind of some of the results that I was getting locally. And I even had one guy like, you need to order me some more of those diabetes pills. Well, I was like, what? And it just took off from there. And now here I am a little over 10 years later, and I'm talking to you about the exact same thing because insulin, sugars, liver, metabolism, all in one little trifecta, so to speak, right? All in one little thing. And that's where I started. I was not a supplement taker. I was an ibuprofen taker. I was a Metabolife taker. Like, come on. Back in high school, I was worse than that, right? I'm just saying, like, stuff like that. So that's half of the total body reset right there. Those three. That's the first half of the total body reset. Since then, what they have done is they have they've launched a few things that have really, 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 really helped you guys out. And it has changed the way that I have been able to completely, I've lost 3 sizes, but I've maintained it. I've kept it off. That's the biggest piece of the story, because are you not just exhausted from, I tried this program and I lost a few, but then I gained. And then I tried another program and I lost some, and then I gained. And then I tried another program and then I lost some. Stop the insanity. Instead, get the key to understanding. If you can support your liver, your gut, and your insulin, you can actually have long-term sustainable answers for turning back your insulin resistance and losing the fat that you're looking to lose. If your insulin is high and if your liver is sluggish, you cannot burn fat. So in the trio, you have one for insulin and you have one for liver, and then you have one for metabolism. Okay. Then the gut primer. This is like it's a green powder that has 6 different blends in it. I already took mine this morning before my breakfast, and it has such a comprehensive conversation inside of a tub, because what it's doing is it's helping you with inflammation. It's helping to support the healing and the sealing of your gut so you can actually absorb nutrients, because when you can absorb nutrients, your body will respond in kind, and it will actually begin to fix the things that need to get fixed. If you've had your gallbladder removed, if you have indigestion, if you know your liver is very sluggish, like when I say to you, you can't burn fat if your liver is sluggish, and you go, oh, crap, I bet it's my liver. Yep, I bet it's my liver. I've taken so many over-the-counter meds. I've taken so many scripts. I've had anesthesia. I've had, don't ask. I got stuff in my brain. I just know my digestion is way off, and I'm expecting my body to produce results. It's not going to do it if I don't get it fixed. That's the gut primer. So I put this in cold water every morning. Tastes like green tea, smells turmeric-y, gingery. Some of you tell me that you love the gut primer. I think Marilyn is the one that loves it. Some of you are like, yeah, you're like me. You're like, it tastes like green tea, not my most favorite, but that's why I put it in just a little bit of water and I down it. That's what I do, okay? But then do that with, this is the 5th product. This is the probiotic. 5 live strains, put it on your tongue. I am going to add this one in because somebody asked me about this on the webinar on Saturday morning. There is another probiotic in a pill that you can take, and it's specifically for stress. So today, here we are talking about stress. If you are a stressed out person, you know your adrenals are being tapped, you know your cortisol is high, you know that that's maybe why you're waking up in the middle of the night. You just have a stressful universe. Then trade this one out and get the one that's called Stress Relief, okay? It's a tablet, and it's formulated for somebody who has a lot of stress going on. But anyway, nonetheless, gut primer, probiotic, and then the last one is the orange pixie stick. And this is, I sourced this straight out of the sports nutrition line because it targets visceral fat. Well, if you don't know anything about visceral fat, number one, if you're insulin resistant, insulin is a fat storing hormone. And it's automatically, because it can't get the fuel into your cell is resistant to insulin. It's laying down fat in your organs, around your intestines. It's doing all of the dangerous things that you don't want it to be doing, but that's what it does. It just stores fat. So this is the fat that you want targeted right here. I understand that you can't wait to get fat off of your saddlebags. I get that, but that's not the dangerous fat. It's inside here. It's why your belly is protruding, because you're fat from the inside out. Visceral fat. So that's what this does. It tastes like an orange pixie stick. You put it on your tongue every morning. You do it for 90 days, and then you take 30 days off. But this total combination of 6, this is where you guys are giving me all of your testimonies from. Doesn't mean you can't pick and choose. It doesn't mean that you can't do just the trio or just the gut reset. It doesn't mean that. I'm just telling you that this is where a lot of the conversation is coming from. So when you hear things like, you know, Terry is down 49 pounds. She's 62, because this has nothing to do with age, by the way. This is a hormonal conversation. Insulin is a hormone. This is why we're talking about it this way. This is a completely different thought process than you've probably, heard before. 49 pounds, she weighs less than she did 30 years ago. Magda, she's on here. After a year of doing the total body reset, she has an MRI that shows that her fatty liver went from bad to mild. The inches lost because of this little pixie stick, because it's targeting the inside. She's lost 6 underneath her bra, 5 off her waist, 3 off her hips. These are the types of results that are coming from that. Okay, because it's literally targeting. There's no more band-aids. No more jazz hands, pretty packaging. Okay, if you eat this processed bar for breakfast, and then if you eat this processed, packaged meal for lunch, and then if you eat this processed packaged snack for 3 in the afternoon, and then you eat this, stop it. Stop it. Number 1, get off of the processed food. Number 2, and I teach all the food pieces in the group, Ditch Insulin Resistance for Women. Number 2, stop eating every freaking 2 hours because you're raising your insulin. And number 3, just learn how to love your life again. Learn how to be okay with being a foodie. I didn't give up being a foodie. I just changed out my pantry. I just changed out how I'm making my food. That's all. I didn't require myself to stop being a foodie. I didn't require myself to live in denial land. I didn't require myself to believe that changing out the way that I'm making food is punishment. None of that. Completely different conversation. No shame. No shame. I was taught one way when I was being raised, and then I was going to teach myself a new way in my 50s. So, Vedra, where are you looking, Vedra? Tell me. Chromium is great. That's a part of one of the products. I have chromium in there. A specific kind, though. Vedra, tell me about the stress probiotic that you can't find. You need all of this. The results of my insulin resistance tests have come in, and it shows severe insulin resistance. I just want you to know. I just want you to know that I'll give you third-party resources, okay? Because I'm not a doctor. I'm just your friend. Dr. Ken Berry, Berry, Dr. Eric, Eric Berg, Berg, Maria Emmerich, Dr. Kiltz. Insulin resistance is 100% reversible. This is not me saying this. I teach food, ingredient trade-outs, how you can still be a foodie, and then I teach nonstop the total body reset, because if you can target your liver, your gut, and your insulin, this is how you can do it. Okay, Wendy, thank you. Alonia, perfect. That's right. Yes, and it's picolinate. That's a very specific kind. You want that. Yeah, Vedra, let me know. Otherwise, you know what, Vedra, when I get off, I'll send you a message on it. Okay, Wendy, thank you for asking. Okay, so this is what I do. I want to make sure I didn't miss something. Okay, I can do that. I'm going to take a screenshot so I can send that to you, the reset information. I will do that. Callie, where can you learn more? Okay, here, this is what you can do. So my site, actually, here, this is the easiest way. It's my first last name. Yeah, you are so welcome, because I've just done, what I do is I'm a geek about this, because when I started finding this stuff out a few years back, I was like, this can't be true. Surely they would have told us these simple things. And this is probably it's a little over 10 years ago now. And so I found my own resources that resonated with me. And so I freely give those out. So this is my site right here. I've got to change that on my StreamYard. This is my site. It's my first last name.com. Kirsten Liebelt, KirstenLiebelt.com. Okay. You can screenshot that. Okay. When you go there, you're going to see my face. The first thing that I want to tell you is make sure that you do not check out as a guest. Don't check out as a guest and miss out. You'll miss out on free shipping. Like with the Total Body Reset specifically, you can have free shipping with that particular, package idea. You can take advantage of the customer campaign, which is a way to get paid back for your own consistency and wellness. It's not just getting paid back like a couple dollars. When you purchase $150 or more 3 months in a row, so let's say October, November, December, in December, which is such a good month to have somebody take money off of your order, you'll drop $75 off your order. You don't have to put anything in. You don't have to have a code. You don't have to do anything. You just do your orders. October, November, December, and they will take $75 off. That's super substantial. Okay. So you got to know that. But anyway, this is my site. And again, TikTok, I'm sorry, got to be so careful. Link is in my bio. Okay. And so when you look at my site, you'll see my face. Right here at the top, you'll see these 4 choices. This is how simple this is. These are 4 configurations of these 6. 4, sorry, I almost dropped my pill there. 4 configurations of these 6 right here. Okay. I don't think that, there we go. I wanted like Instagram to see that. 4 configurations. So the first one is the trio all by itself. The second one is the liver reset. There's 3 of them. Then there's the gut reset. And then there's the total body right there at the 4th one. Okay. But then more than that, that's not going to be on there. Then you can see my before and after picture. And here are some free resources for you. Free resources. Okay. And at the very bottom, contact information. So you're welcome, Wendy. Nobody should be without the ability to contact me. And listen, if you even today are like, okay, like I still am confused or whatever, number 1, Messenger, DMs, etc. But number 2, I'll be back here again tomorrow at 11 a.m. And again, this is what we do. We just come here at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time every single day. And we talk about, you're welcome, Kelly. We talk about how to have hope and encouragement and actual actionable steps that you can take towards turning back your insulin resistance and how that can help you regain your life, how that can help you actually give you back parts of your world that maybe you thought were gone forever. I get it. We all want to lose the sizes. I'm happy I've lost 3 sizes. I'm very happy about that. But I'm actually even more happy that yesterday when I was gone all day long, I felt good all day long. I traveled and I sat long periods of time and I just wasn't inflamed and I wasn't exhausted and I wasn't full of brain fog and I wasn't like bloated and feeling like trash and none of that. Like I have to force myself to remember. I know this sounds crazy and I'm not bragging. I'm not. I just want you to know what's possible for somebody who was literally a 2x in size and a total, like if you even had any clue as to how undisciplined I was and how addicted to sugar I was, if you had any idea, I have to make myself remember what I used to feel like. I have to force myself to be every single day. And I do mean every day. I am mindful. I was literally just talking about this with my oldest son last night. We just had a lot of extra time to chat. And it was so wonderful, right? And I said, you know what? I never have a bad day. I never have a bad day because I'm so grateful. I know, and we were talking about a couple of different scenarios of people around us in our world that have very challenging circumstances. And I do mean like high level challenging circumstances. And I said, because of that, I'm like, I walk because I can. I am grateful because like nothing I do on any given day is hard. Some people have really hard seasons. I've had hard seasons too. I've had really hard seasons. Things that were just beyond my control that I had to walk through, right? We all have that. So then when you are feeling good and you can like create more memories and you can feel amazing to like have that energy and to not be bloated and gross all the time in your tummy and whatever it is, all of a sudden your gratitude meter is like off the charts. And every single person can have that hope. But I teach, when it comes to food, I teach grain, sugar, and legume free. When it comes to supplementation, basically, I teach the total body reset all day, every day. And then if you were on the webinar on Saturday, you saw maybe my expansion of that just a little bit. Lynn, we are so blessed that you have the heart to help us. You're amazing. You're amazing, Lynn. Thank you. Thank you. So tomorrow, I'll be back at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Don't miss out. If you have any questions in the meantime, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to go answer some of the people that I need to answer now and then move on with my day. And I just love you guys so much. So have a wonderful, terrific day. And I will see you later. Bye, you guys.